Hey guys, welcome back to my reading corner, and for today's video I wanted to do a dedicated book review on a book that I read last month, which was Daughter of a Ruin by K.D. Kastner. So if you're interested in hearing more about this book or this author, then just keep watching. So I picked this book up when I was in Australia. I went to the bookstore. It happened to be an independently owned bookstore from what I could tell. And I asked the person working there if he could direct me to any books that were by Australian authors that he highly recommends. This was one of the books that he chose, and this was a YA based book. Now this is supposed to be a fantasy that he compared to Game of Thrones, basically talking about the fact that there's so much deception, there's different kind of kingdoms within the world, and yeah, so after reading this book I ended up giving this book a 3 out of 5 stars from Goodreads. And for me, if you did not know, a 3 basically means that it was a good book. I got through it without being too painful, but at the end of the day it was nothing memorable, and I was not extremely excited about completing this book or reading more in the series if it is a series, or reading more from the author if the author has written more books. From what I can see on Goodreads, K.D. Kastner has not written any other books. This was her first book. And for me, my problem with this book wasn't necessarily the writing. I think the writing was actually very, very good. This book follows the 4 daughters of ruin. Basically what happens is this kingdom, the kingdoms go into war in this realm that where the 3 out of the 4 kingdoms end up falling to this one king, and he becomes the king of the realm. And to show that everybody needs to be in a peaceful state of existence, all of the daughters from the other 3 fallen kingdoms actually go to the head kingdom's property, and the king actually raises them all as his daughter in that mindset. So each chapter actually follows the perspective of one of the 4 girls. You have Ren, you have Suki, you have Cadis, and Irene. Irene is basically the smart one out of all of them. Everybody thinks she's very quiet, and just a bookworm. That's pretty much what people interpret when it comes to her. Then Suki is the youngest out of all 4 of them, and she complains the most. She's like the baby, you know. She wants to do everything for attention but doesn't know what she's doing. So that's Suki. Cadis is like the tough warrior girl, who is misunderstood because of things that she cannot control. And then Rian is the daughter of the official king of this realm. And all 4 of these girls, like I said, are raised together to be in this like queenship. I can't remember the term, but basically King Declan, which is Rhea's dad. Rhea is this girl right here on the screen, or the cover. They are raising Declan is raising the 4 girls to be as like sisterhood, if you will, but a queen version of a sisterhood, because they're all going to be queens of their respective kingdoms when they grow up of age. And yeah, in this world they raise the queens to be not only intelligent but also fierce warriors. And every year that they're doing this like queenship friendship situation, each daughter has to show what they have learned, both mentally and also physically. So they also have to play games against each other where they're literally battling with swords, with knives, everything, to get not only the recognition of King Declan and their respective members of their kingdoms that are allowed to show up, but also from the constituency of King Declan's people. There is a lot of treachery, there is murder, there's a lot There's a lot. But like I said, this book ended up getting a 3 just because for me, some of the perspectives I was not a huge fan of. And I also felt that it was lacking one perspective, one very key perspective. All 4 of these girls are, like I said, raised to fight against each other. And they all learn to fight against each other, fighting and being trained with their with this one female. She is the king's kind of best guard and her son. And I feel like it would have been very beneficial for this book to have the perspective of the son. I feel like at the end you would understand how important he really is to this storyline, and the fact that that was not presented was not the best. And then on top of that, the treachery and stuff, it just took too long to get to it, in my opinion. And the first couple of chapters were just very boring. It took me a while to get past the first chapter in this book, and that's never a good thing. So overall, I think this is a solid read. If you are a huge fan of Game of Thrones, I've never read it or watched the TV show. Well, I watched 2 TV shows and I hated both of them. So food for thought. If you are a huge fan of Game of Thrones, I don't think it would be a bad decision to give this book a try. It is a little bit over 300 pages. So, I mean, for me, if I actually was interested in this book, max it would take me 3 days to get through this book. It took me longer because I wasn't super interested, but I am happy I read this book. I would recommend it to you if this is more up your realm of things. Drama in this aspect and treachery and getting over on people is not my type of aspect that I truly thrive on. So that's why this book was not perfect for me, but it might be perfect for you. And that's why I'm doing this review. But that being said, that's pretty much it. If I didn't say before, I'm not really sure. K.D. Kastner has only written this one book. No, I did say that. So yeah, that's all I have to say for you guys. So yeah, that's all I've got to say today. I hope that this video helped you to get through your life's journey, whether it was easy or if it was hard. And I will see you guys in my next video.